Shalom, hello, salutations, and greetings to everyone. This is Goddess Miasha, and we are back with another episode at Goddess Awakening. So before we get started, you guys already know how we roll around here. I am going to light up my Palo Santo to clear out all the negative energy. All negative energy in my space and around my space, even on y'all, even with you guys. And then also, you guys already know how I do it. A little extra. So today, our podcast episode is going to be part 2 on self-love, how to give yourself self-love. Let me pull up my notes. Okay, let's pull those up. And boom. So I forgot how many, well, I didn't forget. I don't know how many I did last week, but I did quite a few. I was on for like almost 50 minutes last week. So I elaborated on the ones that I did do. So let's go over some more. Again, if you would love this list or you like this list, go ahead and inbox me. You can inbox me on TikTok, Instagram. You can inbox me on Facebook because I get all the notifications there. So if you want all 100 that I have, go ahead and hit me up and I'll make sure I get that to you. So let's just hop right into this podcast, okay? And let's see. I see one that is very, very important. And this one is set realistic goals that align with your values and aspirations. Yes, that too in itself is a form of self-love. And the reason why that is because you don't want to be out here setting unrealistic goals and falling on your face or picking up your face or putting the cart before the horse or anything that's negative. You want to make sure that you have everything set in order. What's the plan? How is it going to be executed? X, Y, and Z, right? And that align with your values. I think that is so important because I just feel like a lot of people get to a point in their life where desperation comes in and or they see an opportunity and it goes way outside of what they would have their values set up against, right? And their morals up against. And a lot of times when people are in dire straits, a lot of times when people are in dire need, they'll do just about anything if presented the opportunity, unfortunately. And so that takes you out of the element of making sure that you stay in alignment with your values and your aspirations, those things that you desire to do, those things that you feel as though that can make you a better woman, a better man, okay, a better person upon this, in this reality. So I think that one is very, very important as well, okay? Let's move on. Let's see. This one is very, very important to me because I have spoken about this about maybe a couple years ago, and because I had started it about 4 years ago, and I just ended about a couple months ago, maybe 2-3 months ago, and that is seeking therapy. So this one says, seek therapy or counseling if needed, to support your mental well-being. Listen, I'm going to say this straight up. The majority of so-called Blacks and African Americans need some type of, if you're doing self-healing, let me just backtrack just a little bit. If you're doing self-healing or therapy, I should say, if the results are great, and that is your authentic self when you are in your healed stage, great. Because there's some people like, well, I healed myself. I did all the things that they did to heal themselves. That's great. But in addition to, this is just my opinion, I believe that people should go seek professional help as well, right? Some type of, or not even just a licensed therapist, someone that is wise, someone that will not, go outside of, hold on, you guys. Someone that will not go outside of those things that you align with morally, right? Someone that will make sure that you stay on point. Maybe someone that's been in your life for a long time. Maybe someone that you seek as an elder, as far as, someone who has a good report, right? As the Bible says, someone who has a good report and good standing as someone that you can go to, right? Even if they're not super duper older than you, someone that is very, very wise. That's great. That's wonderful. I think everybody should seek someone in that type of place. And also, again, for all this being done for your mental well-being, because a lot of times we know that in this reality, the main thing that really does, it gets in the way of life is one's mental and emotional abilities to just to be okay. Some people just not okay. We see it all the time. We see it when we walk outside of our doors. We see it when we walk down the street. We see it in our workplace. We just see it just in general with the wild and crazy stories that we see and we hear about online or on on the television if you watch TV. And a lot of these people are in the positions that they're in because their mental health they're just not well. So me personally, I know this is a part of the whole self-love journey, because even more so with me, and I can only speak for me, it helps you to, or it helped me to be able to decipher and see everyone around me, to see what type of person or people these person or people are in my life. When you have therapy, you not only have to look at yourself, you have to look at the people around you, right? You have to look at your children. You have to look at your spouse. You have to look at your job. You have to, it dissects everything. And you may be able to do that as well. But when you have a counselor or a therapist, they have structure when it comes to that. And it helped me. I'm talking about me personally. It helped me a lot. And I had to realize how toxic my environment was. So yes, therapy, definitely, I suggest that you seek that. And not only that, that is a part of you having self-love for yourself, okay? Now, this one is more of on the physical side, and this is something that I had to incorporate myself, because You see that, what I just did? I just breathe in and I just breathe out. Breath is life. When you can't breathe, when your cells are suffocating, when your organs are suffocating, when you have brain fog and everything else in between, especially, it's because you're not getting enough oxygen. Okay? I think it was like 2 years ago, me and my children, we were talking and they were talking about food and this and that. And I said, you guys, listen, there are people out here in this world that do not eat. All they do is breathe. And they're called breatharians. And they started laughing at me and saying, yeah, right. And I said, okay, you don't have to believe me. And then lo and behold, we're sitting down watching one of the most phenomenal herbalists and healers in this reality, Yaki Awaken. And he, in one of his segments, he speaks about breatharians and how breathing is the most important, how having oxygen is one of the most important things that we need in this reality. So I think it's number 40. Number 40 says, it says, practice deep, intentional breathing to reduce stress and promote relaxation. So intentional breathing means some type of like structure. I do what has relaxed me and what has helped me when I do my meditations. And so I breathe in for 4 seconds, I hold for 4 seconds, and then I release, okay, for 4 seconds. And I do that for about 10 to 12 minutes, just doing that exercise, breathing in and out every 4 seconds and holding for 4 seconds. And I tell you, especially in 2021, you know, it's something about when you first wake up and you first have your spiritual awakening and you start these new practices and these new exercises in your life to be able to just, you know, heal, you know. It just brought so much peace and so much joy to my life and relaxation. And I was able to do it. I'm so thankful I was able to do it, even with my busy life, even with the things that even though my life was dismantling at that time, it was a lot of things dismantling, I still was able to find time to sit with myself and practice breath work. Deep, intentional breath. Breathing in, thinking about all good, positive, and when I breathe out, releasing all the negative, right? Breathing in and saying really good, positive, loving affirmations to myself and releasing all those old, dead, stupid thoughts and things, those crazy strongholds that had a grip on my life, right? And that helped with breath work. So breath work is definitely a part of self-love. Okay, let's move on. I'm not going to be on this one too long, you guys. So this probably will be a very short podcast, but I just wanted to go through some more. And then maybe at the end, I'll just go through them without breaking them down. And you guys can look up, some of the stuff on your own that I bring out. Let's see. Boom, boom, boom. This is a good one. Okay, take breaks from technology and engage in activities that don't involve screens. I don't know how many times I had took hiatuses. One of my last hiatuses I took in 2019, which was very intentional. I think I took this is way before my spiritual awakening. I took 6 months. I think I took like 5 or 6 months off of Facebook, and I still watched YouTube for educational reasons and for, going through what I was going through at that time to help me with some things that I needed to look up. The only thing I kept open was Instagram because that was my business page. But no TV, no Facebook, none of that. And I took and it was a much needed break, because even though I was going through that and going through the stuff that I was going through, I knew putting down the phone, I knew being off of social media was going to help to get rid of the unnecessary energy that I may have listened to and or that I may have looked at. And it did, it worked. I went on for so long with this hiatus. When I got back on, people were inboxing me, oh my God, I thought you deleted me, or I thought you blocked me. And I'm just like, no, when someone deactivates their Facebook, it kind of looks like someone blocked you. It looks the same. So I don't know. I'm guessing that's what it is, because people thought I blocked them. I'm just like, listen, if you didn't do anything to me, whatever, talk to me crazy, or I just had some weird or bad vibe or whatever, there's no reason why I would have blocked you. So I think I even had to go live and say something like, hey, listen, calm down. I'm not living on Facebook like some of y'all. Okay? I'm not living on Facebook like some of you guys. So at the end of the day, putting down the phone, and also turning off the TV, turning off any devices, any other your devices, your tablets, your desktops and whatnot, that is definitely something that you can incorporate, and that is something in regards to self-love. Yes. Okay. Now, this is something that I'm still learning to do, because I've been in a position for a very long time where I am the main person, okay? Not only in my immediate family with my children, but also my whole entire family, and don't get me wrong, I'm very thankful that I have been the go-to person, even more so within the last couple of months with my mother passing and whatnot. But this one is very important, because when you're the go-to person, a lot of times doing this is hard. And this one is learn to ask for help and support when needed. It says learn. As you guys can see, it doesn't just say ask for help and support when needed. It says learn to ask for help and support when needed. Because for some of us who, like I said, we're the go-to person, when certain crises and certain things go on in your family and or just in general, especially when I was like neck deep in the Hebrew Israelite community, my inbox full, okay, of people, and mainly sisters, needing help. Our brothers would hit me up every now and then, but mainly sisters, always asking for help, always asking for guidance and whatnot. And that's great. But someone like myself, who is always the person who is strong, who has to be strong because we have been put in certain positions, someone like you, whoever's watching this and who understands this, you have to learn how to ask for help when it is necessary as well. Okay, that is definitely a form of self-love, and that is something that I'm still learning to do, because, when all eyes are on you, when you're in a certain position, you definitely have to step back and be like, you know what, no, I need help. I can't do this by myself, or whatever that is, or whatever the situation is. You have to speak up for yourself and ask for help when you need the help. Okay? All right, moving on. I'm gonna do a couple more. Okay, let's see. Let's look. All right. It says, this one is a good one. This is not something that I have to work on, because I'm an introvert. I've learned to become an extrovert when I need to, but and even more so in recent past, this has become something that is I'm just so thankful for. And this one is take time for solitude and introspection to connect with yourself on a deeper level. That's pretty much meditation. Okay? That's just, for me, is definitely meditation. And being able to be in solitude. You guys, listen. Listen. I have a big family, right? All my children, they don't live with me. My 4 oldest have their own space. They're out of the home, or 3 of them are, but that's besides the point. And then I have my 4 youngest children. When I have been able to find time in solitude for myself, you have to make that time. You have to, your children have to give you that time, and you have to make that time and space for you. There's been too many brothers and sisters, and I'll say even more sisters, because sisters are the caregivers, women are the caregivers, we are the nurturers, and some of us are natural born nurturers because of, you know, just who we are and where our lives, you know, aligned at, right? You have to set aside time for solitude. I don't care if it's 10 minutes. And then if you can increase it to longer, then great. But I am so thankful, and I will forever be grateful that I am able to set aside time for myself so I don't burn myself out, right? So people think you burning yourself out, there's no rewards for that, right? Because if you're not okay, your children are not going to be okay. If you're not mentally and emotionally and physically and spiritually okay, your children are not going to be okay. Or your spouse, if your spouse needs you, if you and your spouse work together, or whatever the situation is, or whatever your dynamic is, you need to be okay. And one of those things is to cut everything off. When I say cut everything off, even if you have to go outside the house to cut everything off. Thank the Most High, I'm able to, you know, my children are disciplined enough for me to be able to do something like this and get online. And I'm able to deal with the things that I deal with, and or when I'm meditating, and or when I'm doing some type of exercise for myself, or whatever that is. But that solitude and you being with yourself is definitely an act of self-love. You sacrificing your mental and emotional and spiritual and physical self is not, like I said, there are no rewards for that. There are no brownie points that you're collecting that if you get to the other side, or if you get in the spirit realm, like, well, you know what, you did sacrifice yourself and here you go. No. Listen, do it for yourself, and in due time. No, well, I'm not even gonna say in due time, right? Because our children, your children, they actually, you know, are sponges, and they're gonna see, hey, mommy, she took time out for herself. I need to, and she'll sit, and I'll say it, and I know you mothers and you fathers that set aside time out for yourself. You said, mommy's gonna be doing X, Y, and Z. I need everyone to stay as quiet as possible, blah, 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 whatever. Or like myself, my children off to school, so on and so forth, blah, 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 blah. And I can come here and be in my solitude while they are off at school or with their father or whatever the situation is, right? To find that time to, again, to go in, right? To be able to go within, because everything that's in you is the most important thing. And you need to be able to know who and what that is, the good, the bad, the light, and the dark, right? And you can't do that if you don't have time to sit aside in that solitude to do so, right? And to connect, it says to connect with yourself on a deeper level, because no one knows you better than you, right? No one will ever know you better than you. And so when you're able to go inward and when you were able to get self-actualized, hopefully I'm saying that correctly, that is the goal, right? To be self-actualized. And it's no better feeling to be able to be emotionally intelligent, to be able to know your light and your dark, right? Because it's all about duality, light, dark, hot, cold, up, down, left, right. It's all about duality. So you do have to learn about your shadow side. I suggest you do, right? Because you want to be able to find a balance in everything. Everything is not all love and light, okay? Everything is not all roses and petals and daisies and frolicking through the daisies and the tulips, right? That's not how it is. Like, if I'm mad, I'm mad. I'm going to be able to control myself. I know how to handle my anger. I know how not to be when I am angry. Like the scripture says, be ye angry and sin not, right? And your anger side is a dark side. Your angry side is a dark side, but the world doesn't label it as that, right? And you have every right to be angry, especially if you've been violated. That's another situation. But anyway, like I said, that is definitely a way to show yourself love, okay? All right. Let's do one more, because like I said, I ain't going to be in here all night, all right? Let's see. Yes, let's do this one. This one, I think this is very important because when you don't do this, it shows how unappreciative you are. And I'm talking about with the most minute things. Let me read what it is. It says, practice gratitude by regularly acknowledging the things you are thankful for. And it said regularly acknowledge the things that you are grateful for. Why? Because the everyday things that we do every day without thinking, like being able to stand up on your own, being able to eat on your own, being able to get out of your bed, tie your shoes, put on your own clothes, go to the bathroom, walk up and down the street, drive a vehicle, travel. Everybody who is an able-bodied person, all of those things we should never take for granted, and we should always be thankful, even just being able to eat, okay? There's some people who aren't able to eat regular food. There's some people who have to eat or take in their sustenance and their nutrition through their stomach. My 7-year-old, some of you guys know her story, and maybe one day I'll speak about it. Maybe one day I won't, because the last time I spoke about it, I pretty much cussed everybody out. But anyway, she almost, went back into the spirit world when she was born. And that's because when she was coming out, she inhaled some of the amniotic fluid. She wasn't breathing. Her heartbeat was very, very faint. And the nurse that was there, thank the Most High, very grateful, a so-called Black woman, she brought my daughter back to life, helped to bring my daughter back to life, I should say. And, moving forward, she was there for 3 months in a NICU, and she had to get a feeding tube through her stomach. And they was like, you know what? It doesn't look like she's going to have it for a long time, but we'll see, whatever. But, if that thing fell out, and she hasn't used it ever since. I think it fell out when she was she was under like a year old, well under a year old, and it fell out, and we just kept it out, and she's been fine ever since. But I'm saying this to say that there are some people who are born like that, and they have to keep that on their stomach, and that's how they eat their food. They get their sustenance. Right? When my mother was in a hospital, and they had put her, because she wasn't eating, and they put the feeding tube down her, nose and her throat, to where it went down into her stomach, and she was getting her sustenance that way. There are people who have to live like that for the rest of their lives, and they're unable to chew or eat anything. Like those small things, like we just go to the refrigerator and pop something in our mouth, get some grapes, get some, get something, whatever, and eat. And we ain't thinking nothing about it, right? I say thank you to everything. I've learned to say thank you for everything and acknowledge the things that I know that some people, I know that some people in this world would do anything to be even in my position, right? I have a home, the regular things that we all need on a day-to-day basis, all the means and the needs and necessities that we all need just to be in this reality. And I'm talking about, the things that are more on the possession side, but I'm also even more so on top of that talking about the things that are within our bodies, right? The things are the functioning of our bodies, the functioning of our eyes, how I'm able to even speak and have the words to be able to speak to you and be able to listen to comprehend and listen in context and listen to understand and not be confused and just be able to feel people's energy, okay? To be able to feel the energy in the room, to feel the shifts of people's energy. I'm very grateful for, right? And those are things that some people don't have. And I am thankful and I am so grateful every single day for my life, for breath in my body, for my eyes, my ears, for me to be able to taste my food, for me to be here in this reality. I'm so grateful and I'm so thankful. And you should be too. And of course, when you do that, that is definitely a form of self-love. So that is the second and last part to this particular podcast. Thank you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure that you subscribe, that you like and share this podcast. This one is going to be only on my YouTube because my setup went out on me just not too long ago. So this particular episode is only going to be on my YouTube. And I'll make sure I put that information out on the other platforms just in case anyone is following me on Spotify. But anyway, thank you guys again so much for watching Goddess Awakening. I am here every Wednesday. And yeah, thank you guys.